Hello guys, it's Harden here. Hope you're all doing well. Apologies, this is my first video in a long time. A lot of things have changed since I did my last video. The most important of which was I've changed the way I kind of make my ISK. I was primarily focused on kind of encounters previously. I found that was the way that kind of best suited my lifestyle and the amount of time I had in game. I kind of play when I get a chance here at home. I normally kind of play in short bursts because I can get interrupted. I've got two young kids and I'm also working from home, so I can get a call or whatever. So I need to be able to do content quickly that I can get out of very quickly. For a long time, I focused on encounters because I could kind of do that in kind of bite-sized chunks, low-sec encounters. But what I found is following on from the anniversary and some of the changes that were made, particularly the introduction of some of the new kind of outpost modules that actually 0.0 nullsec ratting actually came more profitable, particularly in certain places where my corporation, which is now in deep as 0.0, actually has a kind of 30% bonus to bounties, which actually kind of tipped the balance for me from the kind of profitability of encounters to actually kind of trying to do this. And I found actually it was kind of a lot less stressful, a lot more, safer in a way, even though you're in 0.0 space. There's a kind of, you get a lot more warning than you do in low sec, and also it's just more communal. I'm closer to my alliance, I'm closer to my friends, and that means I've been able to jump onto some of the kind of big ops that are going on. So anyway, you'll also notice here that I'm not flying a Typhoon 2 anymore. I'm flying a Raven Striker. In fact, I now have a Raven Striker on all three of my accounts, which was kind of a big investment, kind of drained my wallet for a while. I did have that Typhoon 2, which is a good ship, it's a solid ship, but what I did find is once I got the Raven Striker on my second account, I realized the Raven was actually for PvE is a lot more, and especially the way I PvE, which is up close and trying to aim for as much DPS as possible. I found that the Raven Striker actually did a much better job than the Typhoon. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly show you my fit on this account, my current fit on this account. Let me just jump into that. As you can see here, this fit is currently doing 2,322 DPS cold, which is very nice, but it's not actually the best DPS out of my little fleet. My second account actually has better DPS, primarily because it had the nano core, which has been optimized. If I show you the nano core on this one, which I only bought in the recent Concord Pass, you can see I've only unlocked 3 levels there, which is the first damage, the second damage, and capacitor. What I found is that the NetEase changed the way you could buy the materials for upgrading, and in the process they kind of secretly nerfed it. That you now buy all the materials in a box which costs 2,400 Concord Pass points, but you only get like 110, and I think it's one of the various kind of items that you need to upgrade. So I just recently spent, I think it was I used 2 accounts. I bought 33 of those boxes at 2,400 each, and that was as far as I was able to upgrade this Raven. So this is not properly optimized. I'd like to unlock another couple of levels. This one particularly here will provide some more kind of missile damage. So once I do that, because this account has more skills, it should be the best in terms of providing the kind of DPS. Hang on, let me jump back into that. Didn't mean to jump out. Providing the DPS. In terms of my setup, as you know, I like to be up close and personal, so the best option for that on the Raven is the rapid missiles, which are perfectly capable of hitting, especially hitting the small stuff, especially when combined with webs and target painters here. So looking at my mid slots, you can see there are 2 target painters. I originally had it switched around. I had 2 webs, 1 target painter on all 3 of my ships, but I found that actually a lot of the waves are at further range, they're further out, so you're not actually getting the webs on there. So what I did was I swapped it around, and now I have 2 painters on each of my ships, which helps again boost the signature radius of the small ships and helps your kind of missiles do better damage on those. And then I do have 1 web on each ship, which is again, the way I normally play is I kill the battleships and the battle cruisers first to reduce the incoming damage. And by the time you've done that, you often find a lot of the smaller ships will be in range, at which point you can slap the web on after killing off those bigger ships, and they will be in range. And they, apart from the painters, they also have the web on them, which means that the rapids just pop them. It's just like popcorn, pop, 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 pop. They're dead. The third slot here is not really optimal. It's not really for PvE. It's actually because I am in 0.0, you do get occasional wanderers coming into our space. So I have a large moat energy neutralizer on there, which basically is used to discourage kind of inties from trying to lock you down. I've got one of those on each of my ships, which means that basically I have 3 heavy newts, which means that if an intie comes in, then there is a good chance that I can actually drain their cap, which will then allow me to kind of pop them in short order. So far I have had a few kind of roamers come in, they've kind of looked at the little fleet and they've kind of gone nope, and then they've kind of warped away. Again, nothing's guaranteed in EVE. I will probably lose all my ships tomorrow. But at least I have some kind of defense there, some kind of discouragement. And on the same theme, I do actually have a couple of medium drums. I haven't upgraded to the largest because I find the mediums do help with applying damage on the small ships, and they also do discourage. They do also apply if we do get into a situation where I'm PvP, they do also still apply damage to those kind of inties as well. So I'm using these modified Vespers, which came along in the anniversary, because they do actually apply a little bit more damage. I haven't upgraded to any kind of specialized drones yet. In terms of the rapids, one thing I was going to mention is that the range on the Raven for those is basically 45 kilometers, which again I warp in at 0. You do get spawns up to about 30 kilometers away, 35 kilometers, but basically they will hit anything up to about 45 kilometers very nicely. So they work very well. In terms of my low slots, you can see 1 large shield booster and 2 shield hardeners there, and again I find that is, especially again because I'm flying in a gang, I'm flying with at least 2 other battleships at all times, that is more than enough defense. I can do the small, medium and large T10 Anoms with no difficulty. Even the scouts and inquisitors I can solo with my little fleet. Even if they focus fire on one of my ships for all 3-4 waves, and I'm having to run that shield booster, I've never been reduced below 50% in shield. And as you can see over here, my capacitor there is 10 minutes 48. That's assuming I'm running all my modules, which I'm not. So basically, in effect, the capacitor on this ship is infinite. So again, I've not, in terms of PvE, not had any issues whatsoever in sustaining. Like, I can run that large shield booster and my cap constantly, and my cap will not drain. And then just to show you that, I mean, that's obviously supported because I've got 2 semiconductor memory cells, and I've got a CC capacitor control circuit 3 in there as well. And then in addition to that, in terms of my other mods here, it's a warhead calefaction and 2 bay loading accelerators, which kind of help with the DPS, because from my perspective, killing stuff quickly actually does help your tank. So the best form of defense is attack. So that's basically my setup on the ship. I have continued to optimize my skills for this. I'll just jump into skills. Let's have a look here. So basically I've pushed my large missile skills up as far as I think is sensible at the moment. and basically you can see I've still got my medium missile skills all pretty nice there, up to expert 4 on my medium missiles. But in terms of my large missiles here, basically you can see I did actually push my expert large missile torpedo operation up to 5. I just took advantage of all that extra SP that was dropped during the anniversary, and I thought, sod it, I'm just going to use it. I wouldn't normally push that up to 5, it's not worth it, but I just thought, okay, I'm just going to drop it all on this, which is probably stupid. I should have probably put it into something else, but hey, that's what I did. So again, that helps with DPS. And then you've got the expert large missile torpedo upgrade, which I'm not going to, I mean, if you look at that, it's something like 87 days. So unless they give us a huge amount of SP in the next anniversary, that might be the only time I'll upgrade that. That's not gonna be upgraded anytime soon. So I've done that. I've also, so just to squeeze the extra DPS out of it, I have been focusing also on my drone skills. That's what I'm kind of upgrading now. I kind of ignored them for a long time. So you can see here my medium drone skills now. I've pushed up to, I'm pushing this one up now to 5, and then I'll do the first probably 4 levels of the expert. The same here, the advanced medium drone upgrade, I'm going to be pushing up to 5 next, and again I will probably push that up for another 3 or 4 levels. And I've also done the drone skills here, which I've pushed up to expert 3. So once those are completed, I'm pretty happy with that I've optimized this as much as I can. In terms of my battleship skills here, you can see I've got expert battleship command on there. I have got, in terms of the other important one for battleships, is expert battleship defense upgrade, which again I've pushed up to 4. You can see my shield is also on expert, and shield I can probably push up the shield hardening, but that one is not, so I can't remember what that skill is. It's not so interesting. Oh, hang on, why is that not appearing? Okay, so yeah, that just relates to the kind of activation time, and that doesn't really have that much impact, so that's probably okay there. And then finally the other one is the engineering skill, which I have battleship engineering, which I have on expert 4 as well. So you can see this ship is kind of nearing my ideal in terms of rating. My other 2 accounts are not as advanced in terms of some of those supporting skills, but their missile skills are starting to approach the same level of expert 3 or 4 as well. So the DPS on my second account is currently, this one's a little bit higher actually, is 2,330, because that one does have an upgraded nanocore. And then my third account, which again got a nice boost with the anniversary skill points, and has an upgraded nanocore, but that one is 2,313 because it's skill. So basically each of my 3 ships in fleet is doing around 2,300 cold DPS. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to demonstrate just how well this works. I just need to quickly check local and see there's nothing around. We are in a war currently. Just check alliance. Okay, so there's nothing there. So what I'm just going to do now is undock all 3 accounts. So I apologize if things don't appear to be happening. It's normally because I'm focusing on the other 2 accounts. And I'm just going to show you how this little mini fleet works in a T10 anomaly. So let me just open this up. I have a kind of PvP set up just in case someone comes in. Again, I've found since I've been in 0.0 that because I kind of play in a fairly active way when I am playing, in terms of I am paying attention to the rats I'm fighting up close and personal, so I'm not kind of AFKing. I'm definitely paying attention to what I'm doing. As long as I kind of keep an eye on the alliance chat and keep an eye on local, I've not really had any problems so far in kind of avoiding any gankers or gangs. I've had a few close scares where people have kind of snuck along, like small gangs have snuck along without being noticed or reported and have suddenly jumped in, but even then I've noticed them in local pretty rapidly, which I always keep the local open on this account. So everything looks okay there. I'm just going to have a quick look at what's available here. So there's a couple of large anomalies. I'm going to actually warp into one of these large anomalies. fleet command, warp fleet, and as you can see, I'm going to be going in at 0. And then I'm going to change back to the PvP setup on that. Just got to quickly do the same on my other accounts, and then the same on my other account. That one I set up for loot, so I can see the loot. So the other thing is, normally I actually do fly in a gang in terms of not just myself, but normally I will send out an invitation to other people in my alliance when they're online, if anyone wants to join up, because again, we do get wandering gangs here, and if you're sometimes you get like 1 or 2 reds going through, and if you're in a gang, you know that there's no chance that they're going to try and kind of engage you, so it's kind of just safety in numbers really. So okay, here we go. We're going to be landing at the Gristas Large Anomaly. Hope no one has taken this one already. Let's see, it looks like it's empty. Okay. And then let me just zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, so this one is empty. Okay, so I'm just waiting till I can lock. There we go. Actually, this just looks like it's the last wave because it's 4 ravens here. Three ravens and a rock. Okay, so I'm going to approach, put on my target painters, put on my damage. Same here. I'm going to try and focus my fire on the same target. So you can get a good idea of, you can see here it's 4 battleships immediately, so you can get an idea about the tanking capability. So they are focusing on this because I was the first one to arrive. So what I tend to do is I arrive and then I find the thing and I just orbit at close range, because again, orbiting, sitting still, it does help them hit you a little bit easier. So actually, if you're just orbiting the beacon, it does actually reduce your incoming damage. Not a huge amount, but it is noticeable. And then finally, I'm just doing that on my 3rd account as well. Alright, so all 3 of my accounts now are just orbiting at close range. We are hitting that first Raven. And as you can see, okay, so we've got some of them have come in close enough that they're in web range. The main thing here, you can see it's very active because I'm running the 3 accounts, so I'm having to kind of keep an eye on all of them, so I'm having to pay attention. Okay, that Blackbird is out of range. You can see I'm running my large boost there, so my cap does go down, but it kind of never really goes down below 50% in this kind of gang, even on the large T10s. Okay, and there's a Corax. So it's strange. I arrived and they were all within range, but they seem to have pulled a bit of range now. Okay. And again, I'm going to apply my damage again, and let me just quickly show you what that means in terms of hot damage. That's 4,031 hot damage, and you can see my defense with the 2 hardeners running is 209,000 EHP, so it's definitely a lot for them to chew through. And again, the medium drones all seem to be hovering around. Let me just do focus fire here, that might just kind of wake them up. Okay, and that shield is full. They're shooting one of my other battleships now. Yeah, I don't think that was the first wave. Maybe I'm going to have to go into another one to show you. Someone has obviously kind of cleared some of this already. Okay. So was that the final wave? That was the final wave. Okay. So you can see that was the final wave, and there was no bother whatsoever with that. Just finish these off. These industrials. Get my painters on just to help apply that little bit more damage, and I'll put my web on as well. I'm going to approach. I'm going to change now temporarily over to loot, see if there's actually anything in range. I'm going to continue approaching these. Maybe I can loot some of them. So what I'll do, that was so quick. I was hoping to show you a full kind of a large, but as someone has already partly cleared that, we'll go into another one now. quickly show you. Maybe we'll get a bounty tick as well, so you can kind of see about the income. Now bear in mind the income is obviously split between 3 different accounts. So there's one in range there, loot. Okay, let's loot that one while we're waiting. Just keeping an eye on local as well, make sure there's no sudden reds, keeping an eye on alliance chat. Those are the most important things out in 0.0. And did get some kind of, what was that there? Some kind of, taking a long time to load. Yeah, I got some kind of the narrow resonance scanner. So there you go. That's the first one done. Alright, let's go to another large so you can actually see the whole thing. Let's go to mission quickly. Let's see, there's a large there. Okay. Turn off the shield booster, save a bit of cap. So you can see there I kind of left the shield booster running and still on 78% cap. So we're going to warp out. Let's change that back to PvP just in case. It's a bit like the shield hardeners. It's something you need. I kind of have to try and remind myself to do because it's very easy to forget. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you'll see the kind of bounty tick in a minute. On average, again, I've just started, it depends when the bounty tick actually is, but kind of with this little fleet, if I'm ratting on my own, I'm looking at about 8 million per tick, which is 8 million per tick across the 3 accounts. It's about 24 million per tick, which if you then think about that in an hour, that's 3 ticks, so you're looking at around 70 million. Now again, don't get too excited about that. It really depends on how much time you play. If I was spending all my day playing this game, I would be absolutely minted. I had money coming out my ears, but I don't. I can only play an hour or so every day, so it sounds like I'm making stupendous amounts of money if you're making 60-70 million every hour, but in reality that's not really the case. So those people who say, oh, I'm getting these crazy bounty ticks, well, that's fine if you're actually able to kind of sustain that on an ongoing basis. But for me, this is a good way to kind of sustain my ships and also do a bit of PvP. So anyway, I've started here. I've kind of forgot to do my orbit thing, which I'm going to do now. Oh, didn't do that properly. I've got big fat fingers. 2 kilometers, do that on my other 2 accounts. As I said, this does reduce the incoming damage. Not gigantically, but it all helps in doing this efficiently. And again, you never know when someone else might turn up and try and interrupt. So you can see there, Garista's large anomaly, just orbiting that. Okay, so that's the first wave. You see squashed flat. Here comes the second wave. Again, we'll go for the rogue here. So as I said, I normally, in fact, my other account doesn't have the rogue on there, so I'm just going to go for the Naga on those 2. Oh, in fact, my second account has just crashed. So that's going to take a little bit of time to come back on, which will reduce my DPS. Again, that's one of the reasons I kind of do like ratting doing this in a fleet, is because I do get quite regular crashes. I'm using Nox for my second two accounts, and they seem to take turns. One crashes, then wait 20 minutes, then the other one crashes, and then 20 minutes later the other one crashes, and they just take turns. Whereas the only thing that's stable is my iPad, well, not my iPad, my Samsung tablet. That one never crashes. Okay, so just trying to get my other account back online. You can see still no kind of real danger, no real problems here. Oh, and luckily my account, normally it warps away, but luckily it hasn't this time. It's in the vicinity, so that's nice. Okay, so that means I can get him back into action pretty quick. Okay, and again, no issues with my shields or anything there. And bear in mind, this is a T10 Anom Okay, and then finally, here we go. I think there's another wave after this, so we're going to take the Scorpion first. Apply damage. As I said, the way I do this is I go for the battleships and the battle cruisers first, and usually you will find that a few of the smaller stuff will come within web range. By the time you've killed the battleship, some of the smaller stuff will come in range. But in this case, no. So I'm going to go straight onto the Raven here. That's going to be the next target. Actually, on my second account, there is one in range, in web range, so I'll stick to that. And again, just keep an eye on local, make sure nothing strange is happening there. Again, if it's just kind of random people wandering around, if it's a random inti who's just flying around looking for miners, whatever, you don't really need to be too worried. It's just kind of keeping an eye on intel, just making sure there's no kind of large gangs, like a few jumps out that inti could be scouting for. That's kind of more the thing you have to kind of keep an eye out for here. And again, obviously, you have to be a good citizen, so you have to also make sure when you see a red that you also report it yourself. You don't want to just sit there and suck up info and not kind of share it yourself. But at the moment, everything's looking quite good. This is actually early in the morning for me, which means it's actually, I'm based in Asia, which means that I'm actually on the same time zone as the US, well, kind of the late night US shift, which means that it's still pretty busy because my alliance is kind of more US based than Asian. So there tends to be more people around. Sometimes in a couple of hours, 2-3 hours, I could be doing this and there'd be no one in the vicinity whatsoever, or just a handful of people. So at this time it's good because I've got company, but then also later it means that it's a bit more quiet. So again, nothing going on, so that's another wave down, and then let's chop into this next one. So you can see my balance there is on 710. Focus fire, there we go. Let's get the Raven focus fire, and then another Raven focus fire. So all of my ships concentrated on that Raven. Turn on all my damage mods. They're shooting my third one. So you can see with the 3 strikers, that Raven, once it goes through shield, it just kind of disintegrates. Okay, that Manticore is in range, so I'm going to put my web on. I'm going to apply all my damage mods, and you can see these small ships, they just melt. Once you've got the webs and the painters, combined with the rapids, you've got no kind of issues with the small stuff, even at point blank range. Again, that might be different depending which kind of space you're in. I'm in Garista's space. They haven't got any crazy kind of intis that kind of orbit at some stupid speed. They're kind of reasonable. Okay, so all the kind of close stuff is dead. So kind of, yeah, just let it kind of auto target after this. One ship that's kind of more dedicated loot. I don't have any prop mods on here, as you can see, so I only kind of pick up the loot that kind of is in range. So I'm not sure. There's 3. Yeah, I think this might be the final wave because I can see there's still 3 battleships left, and I know I killed one at least already. So I think that's 4 battleships. I think that's the final wave here. As you can see, my capacitor shield booster's running on about 74%, so very comfortable there. I do like this kind of more proactive, up close and personal approach though, because the most important thing is it actually keeps me awake. When you're doing this for an hour or 2, it can get boring, especially at night, and I have in the past, especially when I was playing EVE Online, fallen asleep while doing this. But when you're doing this kind of thing, when you're up close and you have to kind of juggle your shields, you have to kind of turn on your shield boosters, it means that you're active and awake, and it means you've got less chance of actually falling asleep and losing all 3 ships just because you fell asleep in a belt or in an anom. And yeah, I'll save my damage mods for the next wave, which I think is going to be the just looting on my other account. Again, just keep an eye on local, keep an eye on alliance. Oh, we do have another wave. Okay, there we go. Let's see, we'll go for this Rogue first. Not sure if that's the right way to pronounce it. Actually, now I'm going to switch to the Scorpion because that's actually in range. Well, actually, yeah. This is a bit all over the place for some reason. A couple of my ships kind of wandered off. I wasn't paying enough attention. So I'm kind of shooting everything right now, but as you can see, not really causing an issue. There's a lot of fire. They are kind of focusing on my second battleship here. So the shields are down to about 30%. Sorry, are down to about 70% on there. Again, put my web on. Does help with the damage application for the up close stuff. But as you can see, everything's kind of popping quite nicely. There goes the Scorpion. Again, get my web on. Turn on my target painters. I thought they were already. I don't know, my second account, I did open it up on my Office PC yesterday, and I think some of the settings have changed because it's not auto-targeting. Let's put my damage on there again. Let me just double check its settings on that one. Strange. Okay. So this hasn't been optimized because, yeah, for some reason my second battleship keeps falling off its targets for some reason. I don't know why. In fact, my third battleship as well. How weird. Okay, hopefully everything's sorted now. That Rogue's going. That Manticore is about to pop. And then, yeah, let's all focus on this Scorpion here. Focus fire. Yeah, so all three are focusing on there. Hopefully we'll get a tick in a second, so you can kind of see income. Hopefully it'll be a full tick. I'm not quite sure on the timing. And let's, yeah, leave that alone. So I think that's definitely the final wave on there. Yeah, that didn't go as well as I would have liked because, as I said, I did have that crash, and then the settings seemed to be screwed up a little bit on one of the accounts. And then finally, let's kill off these industrials. Okay, so there's the tick. So you see it's 8.343 million is the raw tick that all three accounts will get. And then because I'm in a system where we have a 30% bonus on ratting, I get another 2.4 million. So on my main account, I got over probably about 11 million in that tick. On my two other accounts, 16 million. So in total, 16, so about 28 million. Yeah, about 28 million approximately across all three across all 3 accounts, which again in 1 tick. So again, if you extrapolate that to 3 ticks, you're looking at around 75 million per hour. But again, if I could play enough to earn 75 million an hour consistently, then I would be super rich. But no, I can only play a few hours at a time, and like some days I can't play at all. So yeah, as I say, it's handy. It does help your kind of ISK rack up over time, but unless you're super active, you're not going to get super rich with this. But as I said, it's comparable. In fact, when I was doing the encounters, you could earn, especially when you take in the rewards into account, you could earn a similar amount, maybe a little bit less, but certainly not stupendously. And then actually, when you sold the books, so I would say it's actually comparable to low sec encounters or encounters generally. But at the moment, definitely less risk doing it in 0.0. Okay, so that's it. I actually have to do some work now, some real work. So I'm gonna I'm gonna dock up in a second. As you can see, one of the other bonuses here is that our corp, in addition to all the kind of the bonuses to ratting, we also have a lot of extra kind of anomalies spawning. So you can certainly come here and spend a few hours without kind of wearing through all the anoms. So it's definitely a kind of an investment that everyone in the corp kind of contributed to. So anyway, that's it for now. As I said, I do apologize that it's been so long. I am hoping that I can get more involved in this war that's just started between my alliance and I think it's Pantheon. So I'm hoping that maybe I can get some PvP videos for you guys at some point, but no guarantee on that. The issue for me is that when I get into PvP fleet ops, then even when I'm using my phone, which is better, there's still kind of, this does still tend to lag a lot in kind of fleet ops, and I'm not sure recording would kind of help that at the same time, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try it and see how it goes. But anyway, thanks guys. You can see the kind of Raven Striker does a very, very nice job in PvE, especially in kind of a small fleet like this. Choose through the large T10 anoms with no bother at all, and you can make some very, very nice ISK this way in relative safety, provided you have you keep an eye on local and you're in a good alliance that is also kind of monitoring and reporting any hostiles. Okay, thank you. See you soon. Bye.